welcome to another video. In today's video, I wanted to do a cook along with me and give you some ideas of recipes that are inspired by a time when people had very little, but they made the best of what they had. And even though today I am not comparing what we are going through as anything like the Great Depression, the reality remains that there are people whose income levels have drastically changed, and we are at a time of uncertainty, unfortunately, and we're still faced with the task of feeding our families, and we want to do it well. So today I wanted to share with you guys 3 recipes that are taken from a time period of, again, the Great Depression, when people had very little, but they had the ability to create something great from what they already had. And whether today you're looking for inexpensive recipes to feed your whole family, or you're just interested in very simple recipes to get your family fed, I'm going to share with you the 3 recipes that are going to feed your hungry little hippos at home. I hope that you will consider subscribing to my channel, liking this video, leaving me a comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. So the very first recipe that I wanted to share with you guys is a very simple but a very wholesome potato hash. You're only gonna need the basics. You're gonna need some potatoes, 1 onion, and then you can choose any vegetable of choice. I had a sweet pepper in my fridge, so I cut that up. Then taking my, I think it's called a Vidalia chopper, I just cut my potatoes into about 1-inch size rounds, and then I used my chopper to dice them into nice little squares. You totally don't need this, a little tool, but it is super handy. I love using this for anything from soups to salads. So again, about 1 inch or maybe 3/4 of an inch potato rounds, and then just chopping them into cubes. After I was done, I set them aside into a bowl, and then I chopped up my onion, and then followed by that I also chopped up my pepper. As you can see, my little helpers are very eager to help me. So again, once I had everything ready, onto a hot skillet, I took my potatoes, and then I love to use whatever seasoning is on hand. I used smoked paprika and my garlic and herb seasoning, as well as salt. You can use whatever you desire, but let me tell you, once this stuff was cooking, it smelled so amazing. So then I went ahead and I just covered it with the lid for about 10 to 12 minutes. Once they were tender enough that a knife could pierce through the potatoes, I added in my pepper and my onions. I mixed it all together, and then I let it simmer for about another 7 or so minutes. I just finished everything off with some fresh green parsley, which absolutely elevates any dish if you have some fresh herbs. My kids absolutely love this dish, and it was gone within about an hour or so, so I definitely recommend this. The next dish is actually inspired from something of a beef goulash. You're going to need some noodles, either egg or elbow, an onion, some butter, cheese, and about 1.5 pounds of ground beef. So you're gonna boil some water with salt, and then once your water is boiling, you're going to add in your noodles, and as they cook, you are going to want to dice up your onion. You can dice it up using that little Vidalia chopper or by hand. This time I just chose to do it by hand, just so I don't have to clean another kitchen tool. Once your noodles have boiled, I strain them, and I put like a knob of butter in there so they don't stick together. Then into a skillet, I add in a little bit of butter, and then the onion that I chopped up earlier. Let it cook until it's translucent. Once my onion is translucent, I add in my ground beef, and I basically just let that simmer. I add in my seasonings. Like I said previously, I love the garlic and herb, so I add that in there, and then I just let the meat brown until it looks something like this. Then taking a pan, this is like a medium-sized pan. I took half of my noodle mixture, and then I took half of my meat. And I basically just layered everything into my pan. Then taking the remainder half of the noodles, I put that on top and finished it off with the remainder beef. Then taking some cheese, and I always recommend buying cheese in bulk in a block. That way you can shred it yourself. It's a lot more economical and you don't end up getting that powdery substance that they put into the packaged cheese so that it doesn't stick. So taking my shredded cheese, I just put it all over the top of my noodles and beef, and then I put it into the oven on broil for about 7 minutes until it was golden brown on top. Finished it off with some fresh dill, and lunch or dinner was served. This was also absolutely easy, simple. You can cut this into like square size pieces, or you can use a spoon, whatever you like. You can also add in some tomato sauce into this, or whatever sauce you like. You can also add an Alfredo sauce if you wish. I just ate it plain. I thought it was delicious. The next recipe I'm super excited about is called Wacky Depression Cake, and that's because it utilizes some very basic ingredients and it does not need eggs. You're gonna need some flour, some baking soda, salt, unsweetened cocoa powder, sugar, some cider vinegar, vanilla extract, vegetable oil, and water, and that's it. I'll have the full recipe linked for you guys in my description box down below. But I actually did not have any vegetable oil in my house, so I used butter instead, and it turned out great. So I began by sifting in my dry ingredients, and the reason you want to sift in your dry ingredients is to prevent any clumping. And as I sifted all the ingredients, everything went in beautifully, and you can see why you want to sift those dry ingredients, because there are clumps that form and you don't want that going into your mix. So then I just dumped in the rest of my dry ingredients, gave everything a quick stir, and then I added in my cider vinegar, my vanilla, my butter, and then my water as well. And then just using a fork, I gave everything like a rough mix. I had to go back in with my mixer to make everything smooth. Then taking the remainder of my butter, I just used that to butter the sides of my pan. You don't have to do that, but I definitely recommend it because it prevents everything from sticking. And then I poured in my batter into the pan, and then I put it into the oven at 350 for about 20 minutes, or until the center was not too gooey. And when you cut into the cake, it is so incredibly moist in the center. It was absolutely delicious. However, when I let it sit overnight in the refrigerator and cut up the rest of it, it was even better cold. So I definitely recommend doing that. I want to thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end. I hope that you like this type of video. If you want to see more inexpensive, delicious recipes, let me know down in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one.
I can do it myself. I'll do it myself.
Go.
Piece. I feel small piece. Okay.